The war had lasted 30 years. 30 years of fire, death, and broken worlds. The Empire controlled 40 star systems, commanded fleets that darkened the skies of planets, and possessed technology that could crack moons in half. They should have crushed humanity in months. They did not. Princess stood at the window of her father's throne room, watching ships return from the front lines. Many were damaged. Some were missing entirely. The humans had done this. A species that had only discovered space travel 2 centuries ago. A species that had dismissed as primitive animals. Nobody dismissed them now. "You understand why this must happen," Emperor said from his throne. His voice was tired. He had aged 20 years in the last 10. The war had stolen his health, his 2 sons, and his pride. Turned to face her father. She was the 3rd daughter, the forgotten one. Her eldest sister commanded the military. Her second sister handled politics and trade, had been given nothing because she was needed for nothing. Until now. "I understand," said. Her voice did not shake. She had trained herself long ago to hide her feelings. "I am to marry a human, a peace offering." "A bridge between our peoples," her father corrected. "The humans requested this. They want one of my daughters to join with one of their leaders. It will bind our nations together." Almost laughed. A bridge, a pretty word for a sacrifice. She knew the truth. Her father was giving away his least valuable daughter to end a war he could not win. "Who is he?" she asked. "This human I am to marry, a general, an admiral, one of their war heroes." Emperor shifted on his throne. "He is a diplomat. His name is, he handles negotiations for their government." A diplomat, not even a warrior, felt something cold settle in her stomach. She was being traded for peace, and her value was so low that the humans had sent a paper pusher to collect her. "When do I leave?" she asked. "Tomorrow." Nodded once. She did not cry. She did not beg. She simply walked out of the throne room with her head held high. Behind her, she heard her father whisper something that might have been an apology. She did not look back. The human delegation arrived at dawn, had spent the night packing her few personal belongings and saying goodbye to servants who had shown her more kindness than her own family. Her sister came to see her off. The admiral stood in her military uniform, tall and proud, and everything was not. "I am sorry," said. "You deserve better than this." "Do I?" asked. "I have never done anything important. Perhaps this is the one useful thing I can do." Grabbed her arm. "These humans are savages, dangerous and unpredictable. Be careful around them. Trust nothing they say." Gently removed her sister's hand. "I will survive. I always do." She walked toward the landing platform where the human ship waited. It was smaller than she expected. Not a warship or a grand diplomatic vessel. Just a simple transport craft, clean and functional. A man stood at the bottom of the ramp. He was average height, average build. His hair was black and slightly messy, as if he had forgotten to comb it. He wore simple gray clothes with no decorations or medals. His face was calm, pleasant, and completely unremarkable. This was her future husband. This was the man she would spend her life with. Approached him. She had prepared a formal greeting, words of diplomatic courtesy that meant nothing. But before she could speak, the man smiled at her. It was a warm smile, gentle. His eyes crinkled at the corners. "Hello," he said. His voice was soft. You must be Princess. I hope the journey here was not too difficult for you." Blinked. She had expected coldness, calculation, political maneuvering. Instead, this human was asking about her comfort. "The journey was acceptable," she said carefully. "Good." Looked at her small bag of belongings. "Is that all you are bringing?" "I did not wish to burden your ship with excess weight." Something flickered across his face. Sadness, perhaps, or understanding. "You are not a burden," he said. "And this ship can carry much more. If you want to bring anything else, anything at all, we can wait." Stared at him. No one had ever offered her more than what was required. No one had ever asked what she wanted. "This is enough," she said. Nodded, he did not push. He simply gestured toward the ship. "Then please come aboard. The crew has prepared comfortable quarters for you. If you need anything during the journey, anything at all, just ask." The ship's interior was simple but clean. Was shown to a private room that was larger than she expected. There were books on a shelf, written in both human script and someone had researched what she might like to read. There were fresh flowers on a small table, purple flowers, her favorite color. Someone had researched that too. Sat on the bed and tried to understand what was happening. This was not how enemies behaved. This was not how captors treated their prisoners. Unless this was a trick, unless kindness was simply another weapon. She stayed in her room for the first day of the journey. Food was brought to her door. No one forced her to come out. No one demanded anything from her. On the second day, curiosity won over caution. She began to explore the ship. The crew was small, perhaps 20 humans. They were polite to her. Some smiled. One young woman offered to teach her a human card game. Declined, but she noted the genuine friendliness in the offer. And then she noticed something strange. Whenever walked through the ship, the crew changed. They stood. They spoke more quietly. They looked at him with something in their eyes that recognized. Respect, deep, profound respect. But it was more than that. It was almost like fear, no, not fear, awe. The captain of the ship, a stern woman with gray hair, treated like he was the most important person in the universe. She asked his opinion on navigation routes. She reported ship status to him before anyone else. She called him sir in a voice that trembled slightly. Was supposedly a diplomat, a negotiator, a man who pushed papers and arranged meetings. So why did the captain of a military vessel treat him like a king? On the third night, walked past the communication room and heard voices inside. She paused. Through the crack in the door, she saw sitting at a console. His posture was different. His shoulders were straight. His eyes were cold and sharp like blades. "The military will test the treaty within the first year," he said. His voice was hard, commanding, nothing like the gentle man who had greeted her. "Position the Third Fleet at these coordinates. When they move, we move faster." Stepped back from the door. Her heart was pounding. Who was this man she had married? What had she gotten herself into? Earth was nothing like expected. She had grown up hearing stories about humans, savage creatures who lived in filth and chaos, violent animals who ate their enemies and destruction. Her tutors had taught her that human worlds were wastelands of pollution and war. They had lied. The ship landed in a city called Seoul, stepped out onto a platform surrounded by buildings that touched the clouds, but between the towers she saw trees, parks, rivers that sparkled clean under the sun. People walked on streets below, laughing and talking. Children played in gardens while their parents watched. This was not a wasteland. This was a civilization. "Welcome to Earth," said beside her. "Welcome home." Home, the word felt strange, had never really had a home. The palace where she grew up was cold and political. Her rooms there had been a prison dressed in silk. Took her to a house outside the city. It sat on a hillside overlooking a valley of green forests. The house was modest by royal standards but warm and filled with light. There was a garden in the back where vegetables grew. There was a kitchen that smelled of spices and cooking oil. And there was an old woman waiting at the door. "This is my mother," said. "Her name is—" The old woman looked at with sharp eyes. For a moment, prepared herself for rejection. She was an alien, an enemy. No mother would want her son married to such a creature. Then smiled and pulled into an embrace. "You are too thin," the old woman said. "Come inside, I made soup." Did not know how to respond. No one had ever hugged her before. Not her father, not her sisters, not anyone. She stood frozen in the old woman's arms, and felt something crack inside her chest. The days turned into weeks, the weeks turned into months. Gave space. He did not demand her attention. He did not force her to share his bed. He slept in a separate room and never once complained. When she wanted to be alone, he left her alone. When she wanted company, he was there. He taught her to cook human food. They stood together in the kitchen while he showed her how to make dishes his mother had taught him. Rice and vegetables and spicy sauces that made her eyes water, had never cooked before. Princesses did not cook, but she found that she liked it. There was something peaceful about creating food with her own hands. They went on walks through the mountains, knew every trail, every hidden waterfall, every spot where wild flowers grew. He told her stories about his childhood, running through these forests as a boy, swimming in cold streams, watching stars at night and dreaming of space. He asked about her life too, at first gave short answers, safe answers, but was patient. He never pushed. He simply listened, and slowly began to talk. She told him about her lonely childhood, about watching her sisters receive praise while she received nothing, about learning to become invisible because invisible meant safe, about the day she learned she would be given away for peace. Listened to everything. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "You were never nothing," he said finally. "The people who could not see your value were blind." Felt her face grow hot. She looked away. "You do not know me well enough to say that." "Then I will spend my life getting to know you better." Something warm bloomed in her chest, something she did not recognize, something that scared her. But the mysteries did not stop. Diplomats from other empires visited Earth. The Collective, the Federation, the Syndicate of 12 Worlds. They came from the farthest corners of the galaxy, and every single one of them requested meetings with. Not with Earth's president, not with their military commanders, with. Watched from windows as these powerful figures greeted her husband with deep bows. She saw fear in their eyes. She saw them choose their words carefully, as if speaking to something dangerous. One night she found in his study. Papers covered his desk. Star maps glowed on screens. He was studying fleet positions like a general preparing for war. "You are not a diplomat," said from the doorway. Looked up. For just a second, something cold flickered behind his eyes. Then it was gone, replaced by his usual warmth. "What makes you say that?" Diplomats do not study military formations. Diplomats do not make admirals nervous. Diplomats do not receive visits from the leaders of 12 different star nations. Leaned back in his chair, he smiled, but it did not reach his eyes. "You are very observant." "I learned to watch people. It was the only way to survive in my father's court." "Then you know I cannot tell you everything, not yet." "Why not?" "Because some truths are heavy, and I want you to choose to stay before you learn what you have married." Stepped into the room. "I did not choose to marry you. I was given to you like property." "I know," his voice was soft, sad, "and that is why I want to give you a choice now. Stay and learn the truth, or leave and live a peaceful life somewhere far from me. I will arrange it. I will make sure you want for nothing." "You would let me go." "I would never keep you against your will. You have been trapped your whole life. I will not be another prison." Stared at this strange man, this mystery wrapped in kindness. He was offering her freedom, real freedom. After everything she had seen, all the hints that he was something more than he appeared, he was still putting her choice first. "I will stay," she said. Nodded. Something that might have been relief crossed his face. "Then I will tell you everything, soon." But the truth came faster than either of them expected. 3 nights later woke to the sound of breaking glass. She sat up in bed. Her room was dark. The house was silent. Too silent. She crept toward her door. Her heart pounded. Every shadow looked like a threat. A figure moved in the hallway, tall, masked, holding a blade that glowed with purple light. The assassin saw her. He raised his weapon. could not move. Fear locked her body in place. She was going to die. After everything, after finally finding something that felt like happiness, she was going to die in a dark hallway far from everything she knew. The assassin lunged, and then was there. He moved faster than his eyes could follow. One moment he was not there. The next moment he stood between her and death. His hand caught the assassin's wrist. His other hand struck once, twice, 3 times. Each blow was precise, surgical. The assassin crumpled to the floor without making a sound. Turned to look at her. His eyes were empty, cold, the eyes of a predator who had killed so many times that death meant nothing. Then he blinked, and her gentle husband returned. "Are you hurt?" he asked. Shook her head. She could not find words. Looked at the body on the floor. His jaw tightened. "It seems," he said quietly, "that we need to have that conversation sooner than I planned." Assassin was. Recognized the markings on his armor. He belonged to her sister's personal guard, had sent someone to kill her. Her own blood had ordered her death. She sat in the living room while human security forces removed the body. Smother made tea with shaking hands. Outside, the sun was rising over the mountains, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. It was beautiful, felt nothing. Sat down across from her. He had washed the blood from his hands. His clothes were clean. He looked like an ordinary man again, but had seen the truth now. The mask had slipped. "The assassin was sent by a faction in the Empire," said. "They opposed the peace treaty. Killing you would break the marriage alliance and give them an excuse to restart the war." "My sister sent him," whispered. "Yes." Closed her eyes. She had always known was ruthless. But this, ordering the death of her own sister. "Why?" she asked. "I was never a threat to her. I was nothing." "You were never nothing." His voice was firm. "And now you are something very important. You are the bridge between our peoples. You are proof that peace is possible. Some people fear that more than war." Opened her eyes. "You knew this would happen. You knew they would come for me." "I suspected." "And you let me live here without telling me, without warning me." "I had protection in place. I thought we had more time." Leaned forward. "I was wrong, and for that I am sorry." Sorry, such a small word for such a large betrayal. Felt anger rising in her chest. Real anger, the kind she had buried for years. "Who are you?" she demanded. "Not the diplomat, not the gentle husband. Who are you really?" Was silent for a long moment. Then he stood and walked to the window. The morning light made his face look older, tired. In the first year of the war, the Empire destroyed 12 human colonies. 40 million people died. We had no fleet, no weapons that could match yours. Everyone thought humanity would be extinct within a decade. Knew this history. It was taught in schools as proof of their superiority. But then something changed, continued. Human forces started winning battles they should have lost. They predicted movements before they happened. They found weaknesses in your fleet formations that your own commanders did not know existed. The war shifted. Our military believed you developed new weapons, said, or that you made alliances with other empires. No, turned to face her, it was me. Frowned, what do you mean? I am the reason humanity survived. Every major victory in the past 30 years came from my strategies. Every trap your fleets walked into was designed by me. Every psychological operation that made your soldiers fear humans was planned in my mind. The words hung in the air like smoke. That is impossible, said. One person cannot change a war. One person with the right mind can change everything. His voice was flat, empty. I see patterns that others miss. I predict behavior with accuracy that our scientists cannot explain. When I look at a battlefield, I see every possible future and I choose the one where humanity wins. Stared at him. This could not be true. One man could not be responsible for decades of warfare. But then she remembered. The respect from the crew, the fear in the eyes of diplomats, The way admirals and generals deferred to a man with no rank. The other empires, she whispered, they know about you. Some do. They call me the architect. The ones who know my face have standing orders to capture or kill me. Every major power in the galaxy considers me the single greatest threat to their existence. And you married me, his voice rose. You brought me into your home, you put a target on my back. I brought you into my home because you deserved more than being a political tool. Took a step toward her. I studied you for years. I read every report, every intercepted communication, every scrap of information about the royal family. Your sisters are ambitious and cruel. Your father is weak and desperate. But you are different. You do not know me. I know that you learned medicine in secret because you wanted to help people. I know that you freed servants who were being mistreated. I know that you once stopped your sister's guards from beating a prisoner, even though it cost you favor for years. Felt cold. He knew everything, every secret she thought she had kept hidden. You are good, said softly, genuinely good. In a universe full of people who want power and control, you just want to help. That is why I chose you. Chose me for what? To be more than a symbol, to be a partner. Eyes were desperate now, pleading. I have fought this war alone for 30 years. I have made decisions that killed millions. I have become something that frightens even me. I thought, I hoped, that maybe you could help me remember how to be human. Did not know what to say. Her mind was spinning. Everything she thought she knew was a lie. Her husband was not a diplomat. He was a weapon. The most dangerous weapon humanity possessed. The cooking, she said slowly, the walks in the mountains, the nights we talked until dawn, was any of it real? Closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were wet. All of it, every moment. The architect is what I do, but who I am with you, that is who I want to be. A communication device buzzed. Assistant appeared on the screen. His face was pale. Sir, we have a problem. What is it? Admiral has seized control of the Empire. Emperor is dead. She is declaring the peace treaty void and preparing a full military assault on human territory. This world shattered again. Her father was dead. Her sister had taken power through violence, and now war was coming again. His expression changed. The gentle husband disappeared. In his place stood the architect, cold and calculating. How long do we have? Her fleets will reach our border colonies in 3 weeks. Nodded once. Begin Protocol 7, activate all reserve forces, and contact the Council, tell them the war is back. He turned too. For a moment she saw both men in his face, the killer and the husband, the architect and. I have to go, he said. I have to stop your sister. Stay here with my mother. You will be safe. No. The word came out before could stop it. Paused, no. Stood, her legs were shaking, but her voice was steady. Is my sister. This is my family's war. If you are going to fight her, I am coming with you. This is not your battle. You said you wanted a partner, lifted her chin. Then let me be your partner. Let me help you end this without destroying both our peoples. Studied her for a long moment. Then slowly he smiled. It was not the warm smile she had grown used to. It was something sharper, more dangerous. More real. Very well, he said. Then let me show you how humanity makes war. The human military command center was buried deep beneath a mountain, had never seen anything like it. Screens covered every wall, showing star maps and fleet positions. Hundreds of officers worked at stations, coordinating forces across dozens of star systems. The air hummed with tension and focused energy. And at the center of it all stood. He was different here. He moved with purpose. He spoke with authority. Officers twice his age listened to his words like they were messages from a god. When he pointed at a screen, everyone looked. When he gave an order, everyone obeyed. This was the architect in his true form. Your sister's fleet is the largest the Empire has ever assembled, explained. He pulled up a holographic display showing thousands of ships, 300 capital vessels, 2,000 support craft, enough firepower to crack planets. Felt sick. Can humanity defeat that? In a direct battle, no, zoomed in on the formation, but I do not fight direct battles. He began to explain his plan, listened carefully. She had never studied military strategy, but she understood politics. She understood people. You want to divide her forces, said slowly. Make her chase shadows. Exactly. Is brilliant, but she is also proud. If I insult her, she will make mistakes. If I threaten things she values, she will split her attention. What things does she value? Power, reputation, the idea that she is superior to humans. Looked at, you know her better than anyone, what else? Thought about her sister. Memories floated up from her childhood, training with weapons while watched from the shadows, receiving medals while their father ignored his youngest daughter, screaming at servants who made small mistakes. But there were other memories too, carrying Young to bed when she fell asleep reading, defending her against cruel tutors, late at night whispering that she wished things were different. She values control, said finally. She needs to be in control of everything. If she feels like events are moving without her, she panics. She makes rash decisions. Nodded. Good. What else? She hates being laughed at, more than anything. When we were children, a foreign diplomat mocked her accent. She had him killed 3 years later. Interesting. Filed this information away. Anything else? Hesitated. She was always afraid of being forgotten. Our family is ancient. Our bloodline goes back thousands of years. Is terrified that history will remember her as the one who lost everything. Smiled. It was not a kind smile. Then we will make her choose between winning the war and being remembered. We will force her to make decisions that history will judge harshly. The plan took shape over the following days. Worked alongside, offering insights about culture and her sister's psychology. She was surprised by how much she knew. Years of watching and listening had taught her things she never realized she had learned. Human forces began to move. Small fleets attacked supply lines. Propaganda broadcasts mocked leadership. False intelligence led her commanders into traps. And then the real operation began. We are not going to destroy her fleet, announced to his commanders. We are going to cut off its head. The plan was surgical. Human special forces would infiltrate command ship. They would disable her communications, capture her senior officers, and force her to surrender. No great battles, no millions of dead, just precision. It will never work, one general argued. Her ship is the most heavily defended vessel in the fleet. That is why we need someone who knows its weaknesses. Turn 2. The command ship was built by your family. You lived on ships like it your entire life. Can you help us find a way in? Felt the weight of every eye in the room. These humans were asking her to betray her own people, to help them attack her sister. But then she thought about the war, the billions who would die if was not stopped, the human colonies that would burn, the cycle of violence that would continue forever. Yes, she said, I can help. She worked through the night. She drew diagrams from memory. She explained security protocols and guard rotations. She revealed secrets that her family had kept for generations. With every word, she felt a piece of her old life die. She was no longer princess of the empire. She was something new, something that had no name yet. The operation launched 3 days later. Human ships jumped into space and immediately scattered, creating chaos. Whilst fleet chased shadows, a small team slipped through the confusion toward her command ship. Watched from the command center, stood beside her speaking into communication devices, adjusting plans in real time. He was calm, focused, like this was just another day. The team is in position, reported, beginning infiltration. The screens showed helmet camera feeds. Human soldiers moved through corridors that recognized. They passed rooms where she had played as a child. They stepped over guards she might have known. "Something is wrong," said suddenly. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared. The camera feeds went dark one by one. "The team is compromised," said. His voice was tight. "Admiral knew we were coming." Felt her heart stop. How? She had told no one. She had betrayed her family for this plan, and now it had failed. His face was stone. "Pull them out. Get whoever is still alive back to our ships." The retreat was bloody. Of the 50 soldiers who went in, only 12 made it out. 12 humans who had trusted its information. 12 survivors out of 50. The command center fell silent. Officers stared at screens. Some looked at with suspicion. Had she betrayed them? Had she led their people into a trap? "It was not her," said loudly. His voice left no room for doubt. "Someone else leaked the plan. Begin an internal investigation." He turned to. His eyes were tired but not angry. "This is not your fault," he said quietly. 38 people died because of my information. 38 people died because your sister expected us to try something clever. She knows I am the architect. She prepared for tricks." A new transmission came through. A face appeared on the main screen. She looked older than remembered, harder. Her eyes were cold like winter stars. "Hello, little sister," said. "I see you have chosen your side." Stepped forward. "Why did you kill father?" "He was weak. He would have surrendered everything to these animals. I saved our empire." "You started a war that will kill billions." "I started a war that will ensure dominance for 1,000 years, smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. "Did you really think your human husband could outsmart me? I have studied the architect for years. I know how he thinks." Stepped into view of the camera. "Do you?" Smile flickered. "You are just a man, a clever man, but still just a man. I have fleets. I have armies. I have the greatest military force in the galaxy. And I have something better." His voice was soft, dangerous. "I have 30 years of preparation for exactly this moment." "Bluff, you are trying to scare me." "Am I?" Leaned forward. "Check your border systems. The ones you thought were secure. Check them right now." His eyes moved to something off-screen. For just a moment her confident mask cracked. Fear showed through. "That is impossible," she whispered. "Nothing is impossible," said. "You should not have attacked my home. You should not have tried to kill my wife. Now I am going to teach you what humans do to those who threaten what we love." He cut the transmission. Grabbed his arm. "What did you do?" What did she see? Looked at her. Behind the cold mask she saw something burning, something terrifying. "I showed her that while she was building one fleet, I was building 3, hidden in places she never thought to look, ready for the day someone decided peace was not enough." "You knew this would happen." "I planned for it. I hoped it would not, but I planned for it." He took her hand. His grip was warm despite the coldness in his eyes. "Has one choice now. She can fight a war she cannot win, or she can run." The screens updated. Ships were moving, scattering, retreating. But one ship was not retreating. One ship was accelerating. Straight toward Earth. "Admiral's command vessel is on a direct course for the human," reported. "She has broadcast a message to all forces. She is going to destroy Earth herself or die trying." Felt cold. Her sister was going to burn the world that had become her home. His jaw tightened. "Then we stop her," he said. "Whatever it takes." Fleet was smaller now. Only 50 ships had followed her on this final charge, but 50 ships was still enough to burn a planet, enough to kill billions. And she was racing toward Earth faster than any human fleet could intercept. Stood on the bridge of a human warship. She had refused to stay behind, had argued, but she had been firm. This was her sister, her family's madness. She would see it through to the end. Sat in the command chair. Screens surrounded him, showing fleet positions, energy readings, communication channels. He spoke in short, clipped sentences, moving ships like pieces on a game board. "She will reach Earth in 6 hours," reported. "Our main fleet. 8 hours behind her, they cannot catch up." Watch the numbers on the screen. 50 warships against Earth's home defense fleet. The defense fleet was smaller, weaker, designed to stop pirates and small raiding parties, not a full military assault. "We need more ships," she said. "There are no more ships." His voice was calm, too calm, not officially. Frowned. "What does that mean?" Pressed a button on his chair. Red lights began to flash across the bridge. "Attention all forces," he said. "This is the architect. Authorization code Omega 77. Activate the Revelation Protocol." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the screens changed. Signals appeared across the map. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. Ships that had been dark suddenly powered up. Stations that had looked abandoned came alive. Weapons platforms hidden in asteroid fields emerged from their hiding spots. "What is this?" breathed. "Insurance." Eyes reflected the lights of the awakening fleet. "For 30 years I have been hiding pieces. Ships reported destroyed that were secretly repaired. Stations built in places no one thought to look. Weapons that exist in no official record." "You built a secret army." "I built a guarantee. In case humanity ever faced extinction again, I wanted to make sure we could fight back." He looked at her. "I never wanted to use it. Using it means admitting that all other plans have failed." The new ships began to move. They formed up around Earth, creating a defensive sphere. Hundreds of vessels of all sizes. Some were old warships with battle scars. Some were new designs that had never seen before. Together, they were a wall of fire and steel. "Admiral is receiving the sensor data now," said. "She sees the new fleet." "Show me her face." The main screen changed to show the bridge of command ship. The Admiral stood at the center, surrounded by her officers. Her face was pale. Her hands gripped the railing until her knuckles turned white. "You lied," hissed. "All those years of intelligence reports, all those assessments of human military strength, you let us think we could win." "I let you think whatever you wanted," replied. "You chose to believe humans were weak because that belief made you comfortable." "It does not matter," straightened her spine. "I have the strongest ships in the fleet. I will break through your line and destroy your. You will try, and you will fail. And then you will die, forgotten by history, remembered only as the admiral who threw away her fleet in a tantrum." His face twisted with rage. "I am the savior of the Empire." "You are a scared child playing with weapons you do not understand." His voice was ice. "Stand down. Surrender your ships. I will let your crews live." "Never." "Then you choose death, not just for yourself but for everyone who followed you." "Cut the communication." "She is accelerating," announced. "All 50 ships are on attack approach." Nodded, he pressed another button on his chair. "All hands, battle stations. Today we remind the galaxy why they fear humanity." The next 3 hours were chaos. Watched from the bridge as ships clashed in the space around Earth. Vessels were powerful, their weapons tearing holes through human formations. But for every human ship that fell, 2 more took its place. The architect's hidden fleet was everywhere at once. And was everywhere in their minds. He spoke constantly into communication devices. He adjusted formations in real time. He predicted movements before they happened and positioned ships to counter them. It was like watching someone play a game where only they could see the board. Group 7, break left. The cruiser in Sector 4 is about to overload its engines. When it explodes, use the cover to hit the destroyers behind it. Group 12, hold position. They want you to chase. Let them come to you. Group 3, I know you took damage. I know you lost friends. But I need you to hold that line for 3 more minutes. Can you do that for me? Can you be heroes for 3 more minutes? Heard the responses. Voices thick with fear and determination. human soldiers willing to die because this one man asked them to. This was the power every empire feared, not weapons, not ships, this single mind that could turn chaos into victory. Slowly the tide turned. Ships began to fall, one by one, then in groups. Fleet shrank from 50 to 40 to 30 to 20. "She is breaking through," someone shouted. Looked at the screen. His command ship had punched through the defensive line. It was heading straight for Earth, weapons charging for a final bombardment. "All ships intercept," ordered. "They will not reach her in time," said. He looked at the screen showing Earth, beautiful, blue and green and white, the home he had spent his life protecting. "Then I will reach her myself." He walked toward the door. "What are you doing?" Grabbed his arm. "I have a small ship in the hangar, fast enough to intercept, armed enough to cause damage." "You cannot fight a warship alone." "I can slow her down, give the fleet time to catch up." He looked at her. Behind the mask of the architect she saw fear, real fear. "If this does not work, take my mother somewhere safe. Tell her I love her." Felt tears burning her eyes. "Thank you," he touched her face gently. "Thank you for staying. Thank you for making me feel human again. Whatever happens next, I need you to know. I love you. I have loved you since the first day I saw your face in an intelligence report. I will love you until the stars go dark." He kissed her forehead, then he walked away. Watched him go, the man who had changed the course of a war, the weapon that every empire feared, the gentle soul who taught her to cook and showed her mountain flowers. She could not let him die alone. She said, "Is there another ship in the hangar?" The assistant hesitated. "Yes, but it is not armed." "I do not need weapons." She ran. The small ship shook as piloted it toward her sister's warship. She was not a pilot, but the controls were simple. Aim and fly. That was all she needed to do. Ship was already engaging his vessel. It was like watching an insect fight a giant. His weapons barely scratched the warship's shields, but he was fast. He dodged counterattacks. He kept her attention. Opened a communication channel. Her sister's face appeared on screen, looked mad. Her hair was wild. Her eyes were burning. "Little sister, come to watch me destroy your precious humans." "I came to ask you to stop." Laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "Stop, when I am so close to victory." "Look around you. Your fleet is destroyed. You are alone. Even if you somehow burn Earth, the human forces will hunt you down. You will die for nothing." "I will die a hero." "You will die forgotten." His voice cracked. "Just like you always feared. History will remember you as the admiral who lost everything, the woman who destroyed our family's legacy." His face twisted. "You do not know what you are talking about." "I know you, sister. I know you used to check on me at night when I had nightmares. I know you cried when our mother died, even though you told everyone you did not care. I know that somewhere inside you, there is still the person who wanted to protect our family instead of destroy it. That person is dead. No, she is scared. She made a terrible choice and now she does not know how to go back." Tears streamed down his face. "But you can still choose differently. You can surrender. You can live. Our people need a leader who can rebuild, not a martyr who burned everything down." Was silent. On the screen could see her sister's hands shaking. "If I surrender, they will execute me." "Will not let that happen. I will not let that happen. You are my sister. Whatever else you have done, you are still my blood." The silence stretched for an eternity. Then closed her eyes. When she opened them, the madness was gone. In its place was exhaustion, grief, something that might have been relief. "Stand down," said to her crew. "All weapons offline, signal our surrender." The battle was over. 3 months later stood in her garden on Earth. The war was officially ended. The Empire had a new leader, chosen by a council of moderate voices, was under house arrest, not executed. There would be trials. There would be consequences, but there would also be mercy. Walked up behind her. He wrapped his arms around her waist and rested his chin on her shoulder. The ambassadors finally left, he said. I think I talked more today than I have in years. The price of peace. A price I am happy to pay. He turned her around to face him. How are you feeling? Thought about the question. A year ago she had been a forgotten princess given away for politics. Now she was something else, an ambassador, a peacemaker, a wife who had helped end a war. I feel like I finally know who I am, she said. Smiled the warm smile, the real one. And who is that? Someone who belongs somewhere, someone who matters. She touched his face. Someone who loves a very strange and terrifying man. I am not that terrifying. You made 12-star empires afraid to breathe too loudly. That was work, this is home. He gestured at the garden, the mountains, the sky turning pink with sunset. This is who I want to be. Leaned into him. She felt his heartbeat against her chest, steady, human, real. What happens now? She asked. He smiled, the same soft smile from the day they met. Now we live. And they did. The end.